Hello and welcome to this very special episode of What to Expect in the Unlock podcast this year. If you are a returning listener or now brand new watcher because we're on YouTube, yay! Welcome back. I know it's been a long while, been over 15 months, so I do appreciate you sticking around and supporting the podcast. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a little card up here on the top right of the little screen where you can go back to the episode, which explains why I've been away, but why it's been a driving force for me to return the podcast. Equally, if you're brand new to this, then welcome as well. It's lovely to be in your ears or in your eyes. Then yes, thank you for clicking onto this podcast. It's lovely to have you as part of this journey. So I want to share with you in this little special episode why you should listen this year to this brand new season of the podcast, but also what to expect. Now, firstly, the big reason why is because this is really fun. Now, there's more explained in that first episode, but the reason you should listen to this podcast is because why not? No, I mean, joking aside, the reason that you should listen to this podcast is because I'm on a bit of a journey myself. I mean, life can be extremely tough, let alone being a parent. It's quite difficult. So throughout this whole podcast, we're going to be diving into subjects to help us just get through life and get through all these obstacles that stick in the way. Because let's be honest, it can be really challenging sometimes. Business, whether you're in a career, juggling parents, juggling hobbies, just getting through life, achieving the goals that we want to achieve can be really, really hard. In today's society, when mental health is like on the rise, it's quite difficult, let's be honest. So in this podcast, I'm going to be sharing tips and stories from my life about how I've started to now change my life and realizing at 34, I get to choose my beliefs and now how life can be how exactly I want it to be because I get to choose. So with that in mind, we're going to dive into a couple of topics. The first topic we will be diving into is mental health. Huge, huge importance to me. I've suffered with my mental health for many, many years now. So we're going to dive into this because I think it's really important. We get some experts on to talk about how can we deal with those inner feelings and those things that just bring us down and just drives us a little bit crazy and actually start less suffering, but actually just starting to improve our well-being through some mental health coping strategies. So that's going to be one of the things. We're also going to start continuing the personal development theme and looking into how can we unlock the best version of ourselves through speaking to experts, authors, favorite books, and what can we learn from these people to help us get to where we want to be. Also, we'll also be diving into improving confidence as well, because as a confidence coach and working with the Confident Club, we have a wonderful adventure where we can help people improve their confidence. It's not just about presentations, it's also about beliefs. So we're going to share some stuff that we talk about and how we help coach people, because everyone could do with a bit of improving their confidence, right? So those are kind of the three main topics we're going to be talking about. There'll be other things such as resilience, mindset, but ultimately that's the three things we're going to talk about. Now, why I want you to listen to this podcast is because I'm a human being. I'm trying to achieve loads of great things in my life. I'm trying to get to that next level where I want to go. So this is a real human live experience. I'm not some big celebrity. I'm not this like famous YouTuber yet or famous podcaster yet. But it's a bit of a journey, and I'd love for you to encourage and support me on this journey. And I would love to support you as well by building a bit of a community where we can help support each other, get to where we want to be, and just equally improve our well-being in our life and get everything that we want to get in life. So if that sounds like that's something for you, you're in the right place. What to expect this year? So the first thing is that obviously, hey, we're on YouTube. Hey, we've also partnered up with Riverside FM, where now you can start to see all these video recordings coming to life. I always wanted a video format podcast, but Zoom was great, but obviously it had some challenges, and obviously the format that it gives you, it can be sometimes quite clunky and a bit difficult. Riverside has come into my life now, and I've been batching loads of episodes over the past couple of months. And what it's done is create some fantastic content we can use for YouTube or even for shorts, reels, and TikToks as well. So that's the first thing. We've leveled up. We've upped our game. So you can now watch if you want to. If you listen to this just on your commute on the bus, you can also go on YouTube channel and watch this exact video as well. Yay. And there'll be a video episode every single week as well. The second thing to talk about is the brand new format. There are going to be three formats that we are going to talk about on this podcast. The first will be a continuation of me doing my solo episodes where I'll be talking about my stories as a confidence coach in the Confident Club, being on stage. Would you like to hear about when I was on stage with Nelson Mandela's bodyguard and it was a bit of a car crash? Good. Well, I might be sharing that as well on this podcast. Also, I'll be sharing tips about my favorite books on personal development. The second format will be a continuation of getting guests on. So speaking to experts such as Alex Williams, mental health resilience coach, talking to productivity coaches, all these wonderful people that can help us get to where we want to get to in life. And they will probably be a little bit of a longer episode, about 30 minutes to about 40 minutes. The third concept is this one, which is the Diary of a CEO conversation cards. Massive fan of the Diary of a CEO podcast, and this is a fantastic game changer for driving conversations. We'll be talking to loads of guests and just randomly pulling out a card and having a deep and meaningful conversation with zero prep and just seeing the magic that comes out of it. We've already got some episodes pre-planned where we talk about productivity, mental health, resilience, and even talk about our beliefs and the things that we learned as a kid and how that stopped us getting to where we want to be in life. So very exciting stuff, and that's the 3 formats. And last but not least, the Patron community. Yay! Firstly, a massive thank you to all the patrons that have continued to support this podcast when I haven't released an episode for about 15 months. I really do appreciate your support in that. The good news is that the Patron community is still live, but now you can experience it on the app, and it's really, really user-friendly. You can even join the Patron for free. And I would love to encourage you, listen to this episode, join the Patreon podcast for free. You don't have to pay for it. It's completely free, but you'll be able to see some of the content that we share, backstage, exclusive access, that kind of thing. But you'll be part of this community where we can help and support each other be the best version of ourselves. Now, equally, if I know times are tough, but if you have a cup of coffee spare or a cup of tea spare, I think it's like £3 in Costa. Maybe it's £4 nowadays. Who knows? There are other brands available as well. But if you have £3 spare, you can now support me and invest into this podcast by making better technology, better video content. I'm outsourcing a lot of my editing now to people in other countries to help me get this podcast to where it needs to be, because this podcast has so much value to share, and it's just everything I'm investing back in. So if you have a cup of coffee free, if you find one episode really gives you a lot of value, then you can invest just £3 of your money, and it will help bring this podcast into life and just create the best version of this podcast we can make it. And I'll invest everything into tech studios. There's a few studios in London that I'm going to be bringing the podcast down, taking my Roadcaster, and be meeting guests that I've always dreamed of speaking to. And that's because of the investment. So if you have spare a couple of pounds that you can just kind of forget for each month, where you can still get some exclusive access, get all the episodes released early, you'll get your name shouted out on the podcast and also in the description as well. I'd absolutely be thrilled if you wouldn't mind supporting the podcast. That is what to expect this season. I'm very, very excited. The video format has been a game changer, although quite difficult and challenging. So, I hope that you're getting a lot of value from watching these as well as listening as well. But this is what to expect this year. So I hope that you are excited like me and ready for a wonderful journey this year. And if you are, don't forget, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, hit the subscribe button on your podcast player and leave us a lovely review as well, because it will help this podcast get shared to more people. But thank you for joining me on this journey. I can't wait to see you join the community, whether that's on YouTube or in the Patreon as well. But I hope you enjoy this season, and I'll see you soon to help you unlock the best version of yourself. See you soon.